Hello friends, welcome to BDRT tutorial. I hope you guys are going well and doing some amazing and beautiful things in your life. So in this video we will be covering up accounting standard 2, that is based on valuation of inventories. This accounting standard is one of the most important accounting standards for examination purpose as it contains at least 4 to 6 mark question. So in this video, I will be explaining you the basic concepts related to inventories plus some practical questions we'll be covering up in this video. So please do watch this video till the very end. And in case of any doubts or queries, you can post your comments below. जो भी स्टूडेंट्स इस वीडियो को हिंदी में देखना चाहते हैं, हिंदी वीडियो का लिंक मैंने डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में डाल दिया है. आप लिंक को क्लिक करके इस वीडियो को हिंदी में देख सकते हैं. सो विदाउट फर्दर ड्यू लेट्स जस्ट स्टार्ट. So the basic objective of this accounting standard is to determine the value at which inventories are carried in the financial statements. Now, as far as the applicability of this standard is concerned, this standard contains all types of inventories barring a few. Now, what are those inventories? We can say inventories arising under construction contracts, as there is a separate AS for that particular inventories, or we can say work in progress arising in the ordinary course of business of service providers, then shares, debentures and other financial instruments, and producers inventories of livestock, agriculture, forest products, minerals, oils and gases. Now the moot question arises, what are inventories? So inventories basically are assets held for sale in the ordinary course of business. That is, we can say it is a finished products which can be available to sell in the market. The second one is in the process of for production of sale, of production for sale, that is work in progress. These components are basically in between raw materials and finished products, and a certain production process is required to convert these components into finished products. And the last one is materials or supplies to be consumed in the production process or in the rendering of services, that is raw materials. Now here you can see that I've underlined the sentence ordinary course of business. So the relevance of this sentence need to be known for the purpose of AS2. So suppose if a person who is a car manufacturer and a car dealer sells car products, engine oil, other machineries related to car in the ordinary course of business, and suddenly he is trying to sell a particular house or residential property, then we have to consider whether this sale of residential property falls within the purview of ordinary course of business. Now here we can see that this person is a car manufacturer, so that sale of residential property cannot be considered as sale of ordinary activities. Similarly, if a person who is dealing in manufacture of clothes and other chemical items, then in that case, if that concerned person is trying to sell a car, then that selling of car will not fall within the purview of ordinary course of business, and we cannot say that the selling of car is considered to be the ordinary course of business for that chemical manufacturer or that cloth manufacturer. Now, in the simple sense, we can say that inventories is equal to finished products plus work in progress plus raw materials. Now, the moot question arises how these inventories are valued. So, as we know that inventories consist of raw materials or work in progress or finished goods. So, the measurement of inventories in the form of raw materials or work in progress should be at cost or replacement value. Now, the replacement value comes into the picture when it is estimated that the cost of finished products will exceed net realizable value. then the materials will be written down to the next net realizable value, and in such circumstances the replacement cost of materials may be the best available measure of their net realizable value. So we can say that ordinarily the raw materials or work in progress will be valued at cost. However, if the NRV if the cost exceeds the NRV, then the finished products will be valued at NRV, and in this case the replacement cost will be the best measure to value the inventories. Now, as far as the finished product is concerned, it will be valued at lower of cost or NRV. Now, you can see that in this slide I have shared the formulas for net realizable value and cost. So you can read this slide, and you can pause this video and you can read this slide, or you can take the screenshot of this particular slide. I can read this in verbatim. Like, net realizable is equal to estimated selling price in the ordinary course of business less estimated cost of product completion less estimated cost necessary to make sale. And cost of inventories include cost of purchase plus cost of conversion and other costs. Now, what does cost of purchase includes? It includes purchase price, duties and taxes, freight inwards, other expenditure which is directly attributable to the acquisition. And we can reduce trade discounts, rebates, duty drawbacks and other similar items from the gross amount, and the net amount will be the cost of purchase. Similarly, the cost of conversion includes directly related to the units of production and systematically allocation of fixed and variable production overheads that are incurred in converting material into finished goods. Now there are two types of overheads, that is, one is fixed production overheads and the variable production overheads. As you can see that fixed production overheads is the indirect cost of production which remain relatively constant regardless of the volume of production, whereas the variable production overheads vary directly or nearly directly with the volume of production. Now, as far as the allocation of fixed product overhead is concerned, it will be allocated on the basis of normal capacity. However, if the actual production increases normal production, so if there is a case when the normal production or the estimated production is less than the actual production, then in that case the amount of the fixed production overheads allocated to each of production unit is decreased so that inventories are not measured above cost. Now let us take an example. Now this is the example of where normal production exceeds normal production is equal to actual production. That is, we can see that normal production is 1 lakh and actual production is also 1 lakh. Then in that case the fixed overhead per unit will be 18 rupees 18, and the fixed overhead will be included on the basis of normal capacity. So similarly, if the actual production decreases to 90,000 unit, then in that case we can see that fixed overhead is not going to change with the change in output, and it will remain constant at rupees 18 lakhs. So we can say that the overhead rate on actual basis is rupees 20, that is 18 lakhs divided by 90,000, which is actual production. So if we value inventory by 20 for fixed overhead, then that inventory will be overvalued and the losses of rupees 1,80,000 will be included in closing inventory, which can lead to higher gross profit than actually earned. So it is advisable to include fixed overhead per unit on normal capacity to actual production. That is, we can calculate fixed overhead on the basis of the rate, that is 18, and we can multiply the actual production units. The consequent amount will be the fixed overhead, and the rest 1,80,000 shall be transferred to profit and loss account. Similarly, if actual production increases, then the amount of fixed production overheads allocated to each of production is decreased, so that inventories are not measured above cost. Now let us take an example. Suppose in this example our actual production is 1,20,000. Now similarly in this case also fixed overhead is not going to change with the change in output, and it will continue to remain at rupees 18 lakhs. Therefore, overheads on actual basis is rupees 15. That is 18 lakhs divided by 1,20,000. So the overhead per unit will be rupees 15. So if we value that inventory at rupees 18 for fixed overhead purpose, then we will be adding up the element of cost to inventory which actually has not been incurred. So at rupees 18 per unit, total fixed overhead becomes 21.6 lakh. 21.6 lakh, yes. Whereas actual fixed overhead expenses 18 lakhs. Therefore, it is advisable to include fixed overhead on the basis of actual basis, that is 1,20,000 multiplied by rupees 15. Now what will be the treatment of unallocated cost? The same shall be recognized as an expense in the period in which they are incurred. Now the treatment of other costs, if it is directly attributable to the inventories for their present location and condition, that other costs will be included, that will form the part of valuation of inventory. There are certain costs which will be excluded from the cost of inventories, like administrative overheads, selling and distribution cost, abnormal amounts of wasted materials, labor or other production costs, or storage cost. Now here comes an important aspect, whether the borrowing cost associated with inventory shall form part of inventory or not, we need to know. So interest and other borrowing costs are usually considered as not relating to bringing the inventories to their present location and condition, and therefore it will not be included in the cost of inventories. But if an inventory falls within the definition of qualifying asset, as we read in the AS 16, that takes substantial period of time for its intended use or sale, then in that case the borrowing cost associated with inventory should be capitalized as part of their cost. Now let us see some practical examples. Now in this case there are three items, and historical cost and NRV is given. So on the basis of this data we have to value the closing inventory. We need to determine the valuation of closing inventory. So as we can see that as we already know that the value of finished products will be based on cost or net realizable value, whichever is lower. So here's the solution. The inventories should be valued at lower of cost and net realizable value, and the inventories should be written down to net realizable value on an item by item basis in the given case. So we cannot do this particular thing, that we will aggregate the sum of historical cost, and then we will aggregate the sum of NRV, and based on the comparison we will see that whichever is lower, and thereafter we will consider this as a part of valuation of inventories. That is not going to be the case. We have to consider each and every item. We have to consider the valuation of inventory on the basis of each and every item. So here you can see that the valuation of closing inventory will be valued at 74 lakhs, that is 26 for A, item A, 30 for item B, and 18 for item C. So guys, you can do one thing. You can take the screenshot of this example and you can practice this example for your examination purpose. Now here comes the second practical question. In this question, we will have to calculate the value of raw materials and the closing stock. And there are situation given if the NRV of fixed finished goods Y is rupees 400 and the second case NRV of finished goods is rupees 300. So you can click the you can take the screenshot of this particular slide and you can practice it for your future purposes. Now I'm forwarding the slide for the solution. Now in this cost we will first have to ascertain the cost for finished products as well as for the raw materials. So we have calculated the cost on the basis of certain calculations based on the data given in the questions. You can see that for the raw material the cost price is 150 and we have reduced the Senvit credit amount 10 rupees and added the freight inward and unloading charges, and consequently the cost of raw material X is 170 rupees. Similarly for finished goods Y we have calculated the cost by adding direct labor, direct overhead cost and fixed overhead cost into the material consumed, and the resultant cost for the finished goods is 330. Now in the first case where NRV of the net realizable value of the finished goods is rupees 400, so we can see that the net realizable value in this case is greater than the value of finished goods, that is rupees 330. So in this case the raw material and finished goods will be valued at cost. So we have ascertained the value of closing stock by multiplying the rate and the quantity available in the question, and thereby we have calculated the value of closing stock. In contrast to other case, the net realizable value is somehow lower than finished goods, lower than the value of, lower than the cost of, I can say, finished goods. So in this case the raw material is to be valued at replacement cost and the finished goods are to be valued at NRV, which is lower than the cost, and accordingly the cost value, the closing stock value of the of this particular question is by multiplying the quantity and rate given in the question, and thereafter we can calculate the value of closing stock. Now there are certain cost formulas for valuing the inventories, and I'm reading this in verbatim as it is not very important for CA final students as well as for CA IPSC students, because a certain practical questions will be coming in your examination, not from this part. So these are specific identification method, FIFO, weighted average cost. So what you can do is you can take the screenshot of this particular slide and you can read out these cost formulas for your basic understanding of the concept. Now there are certain disclosures which need to be make in the financial statements. Now first one is accounting policies adopted in measuring inventories as well as the cost formulas used. And the second one is total carrying amount of inventories together with a classification appropriate to the enterprise. So here are some common classifications of inventories. that is raw materials and components, work in progress, finished goods, stock in trade, stores and spares, loose tools, and others. So this is it. That marks to the end of this particular accounting standard. I hope you do like this video. And if you have any questions or any queries related to this particular AS, you can comment your queries or questions in the comment box. And thank you so much, guys. Please do like, share this video, and kindly subscribe my channel. Thank you so much.